Hey, you guys, we're about to get started. I'm so excited. I am literally bouncing up and down. Let me know if you can hear this okay. Anyone? Can you hear me? Is this thing working? Hello? I see little green lights. Anybody? Everybody hear me okay? You should be hearing the background music for Piano Maestro. No. You need to stay on. Don't you? There we go. No. Well, I have to stop typing. There we go. Hey guys, we have about 3 minutes before we get started. So you should be seeing me. If you don't see me and you need to refresh your screen, it's the little counterclockwise arrow in your address bar. Yay! I see Justin says he can see me. Yay! Yay! I'm so excited. I can't even tell you. I'm so excited. And I'm literally jumping up and down because this is going to be so much fun. Everybody else okay? Can you hear me and see me okay? You won't see me very much because this is a long PowerPoint presentation, but I do want everybody to let me know if they're all good. On the left side of your screen, if you want to join any of the chats, you hit the little conversation bubble and you can talk to us. Once we get started, I will not be able to chat as much as I would like to because, you know, I love to talk. Great. Thank you, Carol. So please feel free to leave, ask questions if you want to. We are going to open this Q&A at the end of the session. We're going to open the Q&A actually in the JoyTunes Facebook page. So you won't need to ask a whole lot of questions here, although I love reading the comments. When we do the playbacks, the comments never show. And I always think the comments are like the best part of the webinar anyway. So what we'll do afterwards is we will do all, I know, right? My hair's amazing. Sarah totally is amazing. After the webinar, though, we will, I'll post all the pictures, all the comments and questions and things in the Facebook page, the JoyTunes Teachers Facebook page. So if you haven't gone there to get in really quick. Yay, yay, we have one more minute, and I'm gonna talk to everybody just for another second or two. It is so great to see you guys here. I see Rafaelita, I see Marie Lee. I love her. So many friends. Yeah, Justin, go ahead and hit the refresh bar, or the refresh. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Angela. You know, I didn't wear my JoyTunes necklace today. This is actually Mariana jewelry from Israel. So that's my contribution to you know, honoring the JoyTunes team today. Let me see here. I just got a message from somebody, but I can't read it. Okay. But thank you. Thank you. Couple more minutes. I'm going to let everybody kind of get settled in. And make sure you've got your cocktails or your coffee or your snacks or whatever you need, because it's going to be a long ride. I've been working on this, actually been working on this particular webinar since I think October is when we scheduled it. And it just kind of kept getting bumped because there were other things that were more important. And so finally here we are, January, right before the school year starts, we're going to get going. Oh, thank you, Tammy. Okay, Justin got booted and he's gonna try to come back in. And I am not wearing the red hat because I am not at a conference. I only wear the red hat when I go to the conference. So Laurel is talking about the infamous JoyTunes red hat. It's a red felt cowboy hat because I'm from Texas, and she wants to see it. So I'm not wearing it today. I'm just wearing big jewelry, big sparkly jewelry, which, you know, is also a lot of fun. Okay, so I am going to switch this back to our, hello, Delight. It's nice to see you from Canada. Wow, coming in from Canada. That's amazing. That is so amazing. And there's Mario. Mario, welcome, Mario. Nice to see you. Dorla, great. Great to see you too. So many friends. I love this. I love, some of you are Facebook friends, but some of you are like live and in-person friends, and I love that. There's Sarah. Sarah, you did my hair. You don't know this, but you did do my hair. Barbara's from the U.S. Virgin Islands. That's so cool. Yay. What a great community of teachers we have here at JoyTunes. It's just amazing to me, all of the wonderful people that we get to meet in this group. It's a really neat group. Okay, so I'm gonna switch back to my screen sharing here, and let's get this party started. Oh, hold on a second. I can't see my, there we go. Okay, everybody should be seeing the thank you for coming screen. How we doing? Should say Piano Maestro meets a group class, sponsored by JoyTunes and presented by yours truly, me. There's a slight delay, so if I talk really fast, it may get a little garbled. I will try to slow down. Again, if in this particular format, what we have discovered is if your screen freezes or for some reason you can't get a visual or you can't hear something, refresh your screen up in the address bar and you should get right back in. It should be okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I want to start by just thanking JoyTunes for providing these opportunities for us and doing and presenting and hosting these webinars. It's an amazing company. I love them. I consult with them, so I don't technically work for JoyTunes, but whenever they call and they say anything that they need something, I'm totally, yes, my hand goes up and I'm totally in there. When they asked me to do this one, I thought, oh, this will be so much fun because I really enjoy doing group classes. But I do want to say thank you. They really have given us a tremendous gift in that of Piano Maestro and giving us free access to it for us and our students. What's great about this is that even if you have, 500 students, and I know there are some people who are going to have 500 students in their teacher list, there's no limits. You can put as many students as you need to. So this is really, really amazing. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I want to kind of give everybody the ground rules here. Again, I'm gonna talk really fast. I'm gonna try to get through this as quick as I can. If you have questions, you can post them in the chat. I will not get to see them because it's just me this time. So I won't get to see your questions. After the session is over, I'm going to head over to the JoyTunes teacher page and I'm going to start a thread. And if you have any questions, jot them down on a piece of paper or whatever. And I hate paper. So if you know me, you know I hate paper, but jot them down. And then head over to the Facebook group after this is over, and I'll answer questions there about anything that you might have a question about. Okay, so let's just get going. And if you need to, and I would really love it if you do this because we're obviously not going to be able to cover everything that can be done in a classroom. But if you have a particular strategy or if there's something really cool that you do with your group classes, because I'm assuming a lot of you do group classes, please email me and let me know what you do. Write it out and I will put it into a document that we will then post in the JoyTunes files section of our teacher page so that everybody can have access to it. But this is my email address. Of course, you can always use this email address. It's very cool that JoyTunes gave me one. You can always use this address to ask questions or get in touch with me anytime you might need something. So here we go. Today's topics, we're going to cover 3 things as fast as I possibly can do it. Setting up big classes in Piano Maestro, projecting Piano Maestro, and teaching with Piano Maestro. So it's really kind of an aggressive webinar that we're heading into. Hopefully my Wi-Fi connection won't get weird, and make sure, again, if you get stuck at any time, if you get stuck, hit the refresh button in your web address bar up there. So I'm going to start with a couple of assumptions here. I know all about the word assumption, but I do want to make sure that you have some basic skills, that you know, one, how Piano Maestro works, and that you know that you can just put it up on the piano and it will listen to you play, and your students just hit the key on the piano and it starts to play. So I'm going to assume that you know some of this. I'm also going to assume that you know that you have a teacher account, so that all of your students will be free. If you have any questions about that, hit me up in Facebook afterwards. And everybody always asks, so I'm just going to tackle this one right away. How can JoyTunes do this for free when it's just how do they pay their bills if they get it for free? And the answer to that question is really simple. Teachers are not their only users. And so there are lots of people who live in areas that don't have piano teachers. And these are the people who are paying the subscription fees to go ahead and use Piano Maestro. So it's a really great gift that they've given us, and they do really consider us partners. They ask for help, with glitches, and they ask for help often when they are looking to add a new feature. So that's where they make their money. They make their money from their other products that are monetized, but Piano Maestro will always be free for teachers. Always be free for teachers. So just rest assured, you can sign up for it now. You can use it with your students. You can fall in love with it, and 6 months from now, it's still going to be free for you. So never ever worry about that happening to you or your students. If you have a lot of students, your teacher report is going to be crazy big. So the first thing I want to talk about is setting up these big classes. And again, usually when we talk about this sort of thing, there are usually about 3 scenarios that I've talked to teachers about. One is a one-to-one iPad school. There's also the iPads a la carte, and then there's one iPad, one teacher, and like the whole class. So we're going to talk about all 3 of those today. If you have a one-to-one iPad school, we have to talk a little bit about how to put them in your teacher list. Now, I have ADD, and I am absolutely incapable of adding in more than like 5 email addresses without, my brain going crazy, and I start thinking about something else, and then I make a mistake. And so what we're going to do with this, if you have a one-to-one iPad school, what we're going to do is we're going to do it backwards. So we're going to have the children create an account first, and then they're going to request to join you as their teacher. So these are the steps. Step 1, every student goes into the login. I'm going to skip through this because we're actually going to look at the slides as we go through this. I do want to just take a moment to tell you a couple of things about how to name your students and about a group or class password. And I'm going to tackle this first. Naming your students in your classes is a little bit tricky because if we go through it the way we're about to go through it, where they set up their own account and then they connect to you as a teacher, you are going to have to help them figure out how to put their name in, because when you see your teacher schedule for that day, you are only going to see the field for first name. This is really important to understand. They are going to put in their first and last name. You will never see their last name. So it's really important that you put all the important information in the first name field. So for example, I have here Camille L and a comma and then T9 9:30. So this would be a Tuesday 9:30 class. Her name is Camille Laurent. You could also do it the other way. You could put the day and time first and then put the student's name. Either of those will work. This one, everyone gets the same password. In my studio, everyone gets the same password. There's always the inevitable, I have a problem, I have something that you need to fix. And when I ask people, okay, I need to log into your account, I do not want to know what their email password is, what their iTunes password, because they do this. They use the same password for everything. So in my studio, everyone has the same password. I would strongly recommend, since there's no money involved here, that you do the same thing. Have everybody in your studio with the same password so that if something happens, you already have their email address. You can get into their account and fix it yourself without having to get anybody else involved and trying to go back and forth with, but I told you to do this and they didn't, and they missed a step or whatever. So that 2 recommendations there that I think are really, really important. Here are the rest of the steps for what the students will need to do. They will need to tap on the red My Account button. Then they need to put their name in there. They can change their profile picture if they want to. You guys can have a great time talking about that. We always do. And then they're going to hit the green Connect to Teacher. So just know that all of this is already written down, and I will share this with everyone so you can see it. So don't feel like you have to write it down now or take screenshots. It's already written down, and I'll share that later. But here are the screens, and I really wanted to show you what the pictures look like. You can see here where it says Scooby and then do, and then the email address and the password, and then we create the account. Again, remember, the do part of the last name there is not going to show in your account. It's just not going to show. So if you need to make sure that your group class is identified, do it in this first screen, or in the first field where it says student name. Then they're going to get this where they can change the lesson day and whatnot. They're going to get this question. I am 13 and will be using the app myself. So that's the one that they tap. Once they do this, they need to go to My Account up here in the corner, the red My Account button. And then they tap the little gray, very, very lightly shaded, that I never see, gray arrow there in the corner. That's going to trigger this, connect to teacher. This is where, and this is super important, this is where they have to search for you. So in this case, my students, I have 2 email addresses here. My students will either look for Account Webinar or they'll look for Becky Lauren, and I will tell them which one it is. Then they will continue here, connect, they'll select the teacher, and then they'll hit the green connect button. Really simple so far. And then we're done. They just need to make sure, you just need to check everybody's iPad to make sure that the connection status is good to go. Again, we're doing it this way because we don't want to have to spend the weekend typing in 500 emails. I mean, even typing in 20 emails is crazy insane. So if you want to do it this way, you can. This is the back way of connecting to a teacher. You can still do it the other way if you want to enter in all the email addresses, because there's no bulk way to do this. So you have to do it one person at a time. So I tried to find ways that I thought would be really helpful for lots of teachers who have lots of students to be able to do this really simple. You can walk them all through this in about 30 minutes. It shouldn't take quite that long, but you can walk everybody through this and it should work. And then once they're done with that, this is the teacher account. So what you are going to see, the students are done with everything. What you are going to see is that little right there, there's a little finger pointing to My Account that's circled. And you've also got Manage My Students. You're going to open that up to Manage My Students, and you are going to see this long list of approved students. So you're going to have to go through all your lists. You can see here Scooby is approved. I will hit approve. Before I hit approve, though, I want to tap the little arrow that is right there. I want to tap the arrow and make sure that I have them on the right day. Just a precaution, to make sure that I have them on the right teaching day, and then hit approve. So. Whew, all right, we're doing okay. iPads a la carte. This is if you are a cart teacher and you have school iPads. There's a lot of them, but they're all in a cart, and you have to go from the cart of iPads goes from class to class. So if you have one of these, you can, let's see here. You'll need to talk to your IT guy. You'll have to talk to your IT guy anyway, but you'll have to get this downloaded to all of the iPads. They have like special software they can do that with. You will need to enter all of your students one student at a time, but you won't need to enter an email address at all, which makes this a lot easier. It's still going to take some time. There's still no way for you to do this bulk-wise, but at least you don't have to type in email addresses. Just be name and oops, sorry, wrong direction. Still be name and day or time. Here again, you just hit add new. And then you get this screen again. You'll skip the email address. And this is really kind of important for everybody to understand. While we strongly encourage you to put a student's email address in there or their parents' email address in there, which is actually what I prefer, it's not necessary to use Piano Maestro. Not everybody has an iPad. And what the email address does is it's a very helpful teacher shortcut in that once the email address is in there, if the parents decide to buy an iPad later, then their email address is already tagged. So once they create their account using that email address that you put in here, they're automatically going to get it for free. They will never ever have to pay for it. The other thing that the email address does that's really important and very helpful for you is if the student has a 3-star performance and they get a Share the Moment postcard, that email address is automatically inserted for you. So you don't have to keep a list of all your students' email addresses. They're already right there. So that's what the email address is for. But again, it's not necessary to play. I have lots of students who don't have who don't have iPads, and we play just fine. We play in class, but we don't have an email address. And so for those students, I do have to remember their email address, but it's kind of odd. I remember everybody's email addresses anyway, so I don't actually keep a list. I just have those memorized. What they will do is they'll add in their name. Now here, notice that you only have one field. You don't have, like we saw in the previous slides where it was first name, last name, you just have the one field. So this is why I'm telling you it's very important that you put all your identifying information in the first name field. Then you can pick their age and you can add to the account. Here you can see I added Yuval, who's our founder. Yuval Kaminka is in my Wednesday 8:30 class. I totally wish he was in my class. Age 14, made him a lot younger. And he is, again, I put it on the Wednesday day. I can also flip it and do it the other way where I have Igal, who's his brother, on Friday at 8 in the morning, and he's a year younger. Okay, so once you get all of the students enrolled and you have them all set up, you are going to need to grab every iPad and get a friend so you can make it go a lot faster. And you're going to log into every single iPad under your account. So this is you're going to open the teacher account on every single iPad on that cart. You should never have to do this again unless they accidentally log themselves out. You should never have to do this again. But it is really important that all of your students are accessible through your account. Remember, there's no email address there, so they don't have their own accounts. They only have yours. When the students come in, they will need to hit Manage My Students. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They will need to hit Start a Lesson with Any Student up here, the blue button. And see the search bar that's right here with the little magnifying glass under Miss Becky? They can type in their name and last initial or however it was that you had. They don't have to type in the day and the time, although if you want them to, they can, because this search engine will find any combination of those of their names. So if it's Yuval K, if he goes in and he types in Yuval, all of his account will show up without him having to type in the day and the time. So that's a really great feature of the search engine, is that once they get in, and this is my teacher account, they can just go into the little magnifying glass area and find their name, and bam, they are good to go. Okay, so moving on to this iPad. This iPad is mine. You have one iPad, you have 20 students, so you're going to use this in a class that is just a projected class. And we're going to talk about how to project your iPad image in just a second. But for iPad is mine, you're going to need to do something a little bit different, mostly because since none of the students are going to be doing their own progress, you're going to be doing this progress as a class. We're going to go back to Manage My Students and add new again. Here, though, you're going to put in the day and the time and maybe the class period if you want, so that you can keep track of which classes are where, how they're progressing individually. You don't have to add this in as an individual student, but you can track the class periods individually. So this is what I recommend your nickname, your accounts, your student accounts look like. Day, time, whatever period it is, and then you just hit add to account. Again, no email address. Make sure you have the lesson day accurate. super, super simple there. I left this page blank because I'm supposed to remember to tell you about the teacher report, which hopefully I will not forget to do. I will not forget to do. And we are 5 minutes over already. Okay, I'm hurrying. Okay, so let's talk about right now logging out and logging in. Sometimes this gets a little bit lost. It's kind of important. I want you to know how to do it. You're going to go to the My Account tab, the red My Account tab, which is in the upper right corner of the opening screen. And right here next to your name and the little gray pencil in super light letters, it says log out. If you have an instance where the students do need to log out, I want you to know where that is. So they just hit log out, and when they hit log out, they're going to come back to the screen, and then whoever's email and password it is, you need to get back in. This is how you log in and out. Just want everybody to know, just a brief aside, make sure you know how to log in and out should you need to do that with your students. Okay, moving on. Piano Maestro and hardware. We're going to talk about how to project to a screen or monitor, what to buy, and how to set it up. So this is very much dependent on the equipment that you have and your budget. And I am totally aware of that. I absolutely know that the money does not grow on trees. I wish that it did and that I had one. But we do need to talk a little bit about what you're going to need. So typically, if you have an iPad that you're going to project using a projector, this is what you're going to need, or some variation of this. Again, there's 1,000 different types of projectors. This is the projector that I have. It's a, let me see if I'm going to read it. It's a ViewSonic DLP projector. It has 3,000 lumens. It's PC3D ready. It's 120 hertz. I like this projector a lot. It's a really handy little machine. It's not too big. It travels easy. In the back of this, which you can't see in this image, but on the back, there are 2 ways to set this up. I can either use a cable like the cable that attaches to your computer monitor, or I can use this HDMI. It's called an HDMI cable. And what this cable does is it handles all media. So it will show my iPad, but it will also handle sound. So sound and the image come out of my projector. Now, for this particular projector, the speakers are really awful. I mean, they're really awful. They sound just terrible. They are terrible sounding speakers. Did I mention they were bad? They're really bad. So I have to add a speaker, an external speaker, and if you get in really, really close, like put your nose up to the screen, you can see right here at the bottom there's a teeny tiny like little circle there. That's where you plug in this orange cable. So the orange cable goes into the speaker and to the projector. This Doonbuggle thingy, this adapter, it's an HDMI adapter. Sorry, it's an HDMI adapter. This one attaches, the lightning end attaches to your iPad. The outside, on the other side, there's the cable for the HDMI thing. HDMI goes into there. The other end of HDMI goes into the projector. Turn this bad boy on, and bam, you are good to go. Super easy. Lots of connections, but super easy. Make sure, too, that you remember to, when you're purchasing this stuff, that you get a cable that matches your space. So I think I posted a link somewhere, and it was like a 3-foot cable. Don't get a 3-foot cable unless you don't move around. I have a 20-foot cable because I move around a lot while I'm teaching my classes, so I'm constantly walking around with my iPad. But make sure you do get cables that are an appropriate length for you, and definitely talk to your IT guy. Go to him with this list and say, this is what I need. This is how we need to attach it, and make it happen. So, all right, so that's if you're going to use a projector. Double check your projectors, because some projectors do HDMI and some only do VGA monitor type attachments. So check your projector and see which one you have, because if you're using a TV or a monitor, you may need one of these. Mostly for a monitor, not so much for a TV. Most TVs these days are HDMI ready. But if you do, you might need a TV, or you might need this for a TV as well. But for sure for a computer monitor, if there's a large computer monitor, this is what you're going to need. Again, you're going to need your iPad. You're going to have a different type of adapter, though. This is an Apple Lightning to VGA adapter. You can see that the connector is with the little pins that match the cables down here. Still going to need a speaker because you're going to have to attach the speaker this time to your iPad, not to your projector. It will go into the iPad. So you'll need to make sure you have a corded speaker for lots of reasons. Bluetooth does not work with Piano Maestro. You'll hear some sound through the Bluetooth speaker, and then when you go to play, you won't hear anything. It's a processing thing that Apple doesn't allow us to do. So make sure whenever you use Piano Maestro that you are using a corded cabled speaker, using the tiny little auxiliary cable into your iPad and then also into the speaker. Then you can choose, depending on what kind of monitor you have, one of these two cords, one of these two cables. One end of this cable goes into the little VGA adapter thingy. And these are all very technical terms. I know. I'm sorry. And then the other end goes into the monitor. Monitors, again, will either have HDMI or they'll have the same 30 pin. And you can use whichever of those cables will work for you. Again, pick the size of cable that works for your space so that it looks, and you're not stretching and people aren't, tripping over things. Okay. I know there's going to be a lot of questions about this one. Please feel free to ask questions about this on the Facebook page afterwards. All right, so here we go. I am back on schedule. Yay. We're going to jump right into Piano Maestro and class activities. So one of the great things that Piano Maestro and JoyTunes has done for teachers is they have given you all of the Journey curriculum as a PDF that you can use to plan your classes. So this just cuts out a ton of time. I remember begging them for this when it was still when Piano Maestro was still Piano Mania. I begged Marta for the Journey curriculum because I didn't want to have to go through it myself and try to figure out what the concepts were that were being taught. And so they did it for us. We got it. It's great. Love this. Love this. You can see here where they're highlighted when you go to this particular document at this web address. These are all hyperlinks. So when you tap, let me try English. When you tap on them, it will take you to a PDF. You can save these PDFs, or you can print them, or you can email them to yourself, or you can save them all in Dropbox. I did that so that I could have the sheet music, because we're going to use that a little bit later. But I wanted to give you some examples of what a 50-minute class might look like and these are some of mine. I have several of these different schedules that we do depending on what I'm teaching that day. But I wanted to give you a couple of schedules on how and what you can teach in class. So this first one is a 50-minute class where they come in for 5 to 8 minutes. They come in, they get settled, they log in. You're the happy teacher. You yell at them, "Hey y'all, let's go!" Get in there, and you answer questions, do whatever it is that you do to build rapport with your students. 2 minutes, we review class rules. This is standard operating procedure in every single one of my classes. We sit down and we talk about rules. I have 4. There are 4 rules. They're very, very simple rules to remember. I don't post them anywhere. We talk about them. There are 4 rules, but we review that really quickly just to make sure everybody's in the right mindset. And then we spend 15 minutes teaching a concept that we're about to learn in piano, or that I'm about to reinforce in Piano Maestro. But I'll teach the concept usually about 15 minutes, off the bench activities. We're not actually using the keyboard, or we may use it, but just kind of laterally. And we do our off-the-bench activities that are going to teach what I need them to learn. Then they have about 10 minutes to play either as a student by themselves, if it's a one-to-one iPad thing where there's like an exercise on board or something for them to do that they just need to, what's the word I'm looking for? What they need to acquire themselves, the skill they need to, the self-acquiring skill, something like that. But sometimes it's a group play thing where we play as a group, but we have about 10 minutes to reinforce the concept that I just taught. And then we have 8 to 12 minutes to play it in Piano Maestro. And then about 3 to 5 minutes to log out if they need to log out, or get out of the screen, out of their particular profile, and get back to the main screen so that the next student can find their name, clean up and set up for the next class. I often have my students wipe the headphones that they're using, if they're using headphones, with the Clorox wipe, so that we don't have germs, and wipe down the keyboards as well, because ew, germs, just ew. Another 50-minute class might look like this. Everybody logs in, they sit and they wait. 15 minutes where I teach a journey chapter. And by teach a journey chapter, I mean I go through and I play all the songs so they know what we're doing. I highlight problem areas. I demonstrate the songs. We are sure to discuss hands playing together and separately, and review rhythms. Most of what I'm talking about today is for beginner piano students. I'm again assuming that you will, because you're teachers, be able to make these activities more difficult and more appropriate for your classes that are a little more advanced. Then we'll do 15 to 20 minutes of individual play. If this is a one-to-one iPad or a CART class, then for sure they can do this on their own. If it's one iPad, then we'll spend about probably a little bit more than that. 20, 25 minutes of class time will be devoted to them coming up quickly, playing through what I need them to play through, and then having everybody sit down. And then we have 5 minutes where we just talk about, okay, so how do you feel like you did? That's a really common question that I ask my students. So anytime they finish playing something, I will say, okay, so how did that feel? And it's an opportunity for them to say, yeah, my fingers just don't quite feel like they know what they're doing. Can we do it again? Or it's an opportunity for them to say, yeah, Miss Becky, you didn't even speak English there. You need to do that again. So it just kind of is a way for us to both evaluate how the class went. And then again, 5 minutes to log out, clean up, and set up for the next class. You can do whatever you want to. Again, Piano Maestro is not optimized for group classes. It was designed for the private one-to-one piano teacher, but you can do whatever you want to. I just kind of wanted to get you started thinking about what that class time would look like. And of course, if you have more or less time, you can adjust it as you need to. So one of the things another thing I wanted to talk about was teaching an actual journey chapter. So in this one, the songs are Rocking, Vivaldi's Spring, and The Great Quest. Some of the concepts that are taught in this particular chapter is right hand, middle C, listening for an introduction and knowing when to start. There are a lot of signs and symbols that they need to know. So this would be your off the bench activities that you need to work through, how you're going to teach it. And then of course there's the keyboard topography, which is, how to find and play middle C. These are the rhythms that are in Piano Maestro's Chapter 1. And I wrote these all out in different colors. So the ones in pink-ish, are for Rocking and Vivaldi's Spring. And then this one, the ones in yellow, are for The Great Quest. I would recommend doing flashcards or doing exercises. We're going to talk a little bit about what exercises you might do with these rhythms, but off the bench exercises so they understand how to do rhythm and then have them play it. Have them play through Journey Chapter 1. Everybody does this. Now, I know that when I teach Journey Chapter 1, it usually takes us 2 to 3 classes to get through the entire Journey Chapter 1 level, especially with a group class. The bigger the class, the slower the progress. So especially if we only have one iPad and I'm projecting and I've got to get every kid up there one at a time to do it, it just takes some time. So you'll have to kind of play around a little bit with the different scenarios and see which of those will work best for you. But it's totally doable once you've got the projection thing down. And you guys are teachers. You know how to teach, so I'm not going to tell you how to teach. Here's Journey Chapter 9. This one's a little more intense. This one has quarter notes, half notes, whole rest, dotted halves, dotted half rest, quarter rest, half notes, quarter rest, The treble notes are C, D, and E, and the bass notes are G, A, and B. Obviously, by this time, I'm thinking we're somewhere around January, February. If we started this in September, chapter 9 is about where I think we would probably be. There's a sharp symbol in the music, even though they don't play it. There's a lot of hands alternating left and right, but they don't play together. So in minor dreams, these are some of the activities that we do. We do finger number drills where they put their hands on the piano or on the piano cover, and I have them in teams of 2. And we do right hand, I shout right hand 1, right hand 3, left hand 1, left hand 2. Ooh, it says LG. Sorry about that. It should be LH. LH2, left hand 2. And then we do teams of 2 so they can check each other. Because you know how kids are. They're not always particularly honest, but muscle memory is something that's really important. So I make sure that they are in teams and they can check each other. We also do pattern play where I will have them start with their thumb on treble C, and I will have them walk their fingers up to E. We all play this together, or we may start on E, treble E, and walk down to C, just to get the fingers used to the patterns that they are going to be seeing when they actually start playing Piano Maestro. Remember, these songs go by really, really fast. Even if you slow it down, sometimes it still feels like it's too fast for them. So these are some activities that we'll do just to kind of prepare the body physically for what they are about to see and have to do. Just a couple ideas for minor dreams. For Fur Elise, which is the funky version of Fur Elise, I think, we'll play a game called Play On or Clap On. And what they do is I will run, Piano Maestro will be playing in the background, but I will have them clap on the downbeat, or I'll have them clap on the 3rd beat of the measure, and then I'll have them clap on 1 and 3, because for Elise, these are the rhythms that they mostly will be playing. So I really want them to really internalize that sort of thing. On Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, we divide into 2 teams, and I have them play the music version of 7 Up. So again, the music is scrolling. No one is actually playing this on their iPad yet. These are off the bench activities. The music is scrolling by, and when the E hits the blue line, everybody has to jump up. So that's the first stage. We spend a few weeks learning how to do that. But once they get that concept down, I will label the teams with Post-its or tags. They'll wear a tag around their neck. And we'll do the same thing, but I'll divide them into different notes. So in Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, you may be a C, you might be on the E team, you might be on the D team, whatever. And then we'll still play this. So and I'll keep the groups together. That's stage 1. I keep the groups of letters together. So all the C's are together, all the D's are together, all the E's are together, so they can kind of help each other learn to recognize the notes. But then stage 2 of that is I will just create random teams, and I won't let them sit next to somebody who is on their team. They will sit next to somebody who's not on their team. And this is, again, a way to make sure that they're not just following the crowd, but that they're actually doing the work. So one of our favorite games, we actually really like playing 7 Up, the music version of 7 Up. And then for Apologize, we listen to the radio version, and then I teach them the song. This only uses 4 notes, which they're really excited about usually, and they like it a lot. There's lots and lots of patterns in this. So I will play the music, I will stop it, I will pause it, and we'll look through all of the song to make sure, because this one is not available for as a PDF, so you can't see it and you can't print it. So you can scroll through and see if you can find all the patterns there. We'll do that. We'll scroll through and find patterns, and then we'll start the song and have them, play through it. Or we will play, name that note while we're scrolling. I'll just randomly say, okay, wait, what note is that one? And I'll point to it, and they have to tell me what it is. You can also do this. I've had some moderate success with this. I wouldn't say it's my favorite game to do, but the kids really like it. I will get one of the pieces that is printable. I will print it, and then we will pin the Post-it on the note. So, I'll blindfold them. They'll go up. They'll put the Post-it somewhere on the poster board, and hopefully they will have hit a note, whether a quarter note or an identifying note, or maybe a rest. and have them identify what it is that they're supposed to be doing there. Or I'll have them, they'll go up, they'll put the Post-it up, and we'll talk about, okay, so you're not playing in your right hand, but you are playing in your left hand, or you're playing together and they're half notes. I mean, there's lots of things that you can do with this, but this one takes a little bit more time. You do have to prepare ahead of time by printing it and enlarging it and setting up your class. So if you have a little extra time, that's one of the things that we'll do with this. Okay, whew. Let's see, where am I? Go team. We're into little tips and tricks. Look at the time. I am doing so well. Just before we move into the next section, I just want to say there's lots and lots of room for your own style. I'm just kind of giving you some ideas for how to get started. So just be you. If you're a private teacher who's looking to expand into group lessons, be you, just be more of you to more people. One of my friends said to me, Valerie McEnroy, which you probably, if you're ever on Piano Teacher Central, know who she is. She's a really, really fantastic group teacher. And I remember we had a very pivotal moment for me in a conversation with her where she said, why would you teach one thing 15 times during the week when you can teach that one thing to 15 people at once? And it was really hard to argue with that knowledge, with that statement, because, why would you do that? So I am a big fan of group teaching. I really am a big fan of good group teaching, which if I had said that 15 years ago, I probably would have gone, what? No, group teaching, no, I'm never going to do that. But there's really a lot of benefit to doing it. Plus, it's a lot more fun to play with friends. So just be you. Remember that when you are teaching a group class, that the theme is plan and then play. That's really if you take nothing else away from today's session, take that. Plan it and then play with your kids. It will be a lot of fun. I want to talk briefly about the journey section so that you kind of get, if you're new to Piano Maestro, I know Justin is relatively new to Piano Maestro, and I'm picking on Justin just simply because he emailed me last night asking questions, and I was like, oh, you're so lucky, we're having this webinar tomorrow, we're going to talk about this. Relatively new. I know some of you are relatively new to this too. You have 3 sections here in your main menu. It's the journey, the library, and the home challenge. Home challenge is only available to you if your students are connected to you and they have an iPad at home. So this would work for one-to-one iPad schools, but not so much for everybody else. What home challenge does is it allows you to assign homework to the students through the app. Pretty simple. There's a lot of, I think we have some YouTube videos that you can watch that will kind of explain the process for you. I'm not going to explain it now because it's not really something that we're going to do, but you have the journey and you have the library. So when you're considering a curriculum for your group piano class, whether it's at a school or whether it's your own group piano class, you have to kind of decide which direction you're going to go. Are you going to teach the journey and then move into the library? Or do you want to start with a curriculum that's actually in the library? So we're going to start with the journey. We're going to look at the journey here. When you use the journey, please go back and use that PDF that's on the website. If you want to use the method series, Piano Maestro has been, Joy Teens has been amazing to us in that in the library you have the methods section, and I would really encourage you to spend a lot of time in the methods section. You also have exercises, so if you wanted to do an exercise that's going to help your students learn a particular skill or something in a song, you have scales here, you've got sight reading, you've got rhythm exercises, there's all kinds of great stuff in the exercise section of the library. But over in the method section, you can choose to pick a curriculum. Now, again, I know money does not grow on trees, but if you need a textbook, there are 2 series here that I would highly, highly recommend. If you have older kids, and you need something that will get music into them quickly, and it's music that, because you know them as a group, you know how they work together as a group. Jennifer Eklund's Piano Pronto is a great series for older kids. So I'm thinking 6th, 7th, 8th grade. I use her books with everybody, with all ages, but it's not the books themselves don't have any graphics in them, so sometimes it's hard for the little ones to get excited about a song because there's no graphics in there. And I don't have very many classes like that, but I have some real babyish classes and they really like the graphics. So again, you know your students, you can figure out which one of these will work for you. But I really like Jennifer Eklund's music. She also has a ton, as you can see here, she has a ton of extra supplemental music that is written kind of in the same format, using the same style. It's really great for kids. The other one that I really, really like for group classes is the Alfred Premier piano course. If everybody has this book, it's a great, great, great book for students to work their way through. And you can see we have lesson books, we have the performance books. All of this material is really, really pedagogically sound, all of it. Jennifer's and this Alfred Premier piano course. There's another one for your itty bitties. You can just barely see it at the bottom. It's called Music for Little Mozarts. This has a lot of stuff that's not notated, so you can use that as you're teaching, if you are teaching just topography. These are really great. These 3 series are really great, and then of course there's Jennifer's material as well. So check them out, decide which direction you want to go. You can use the journey, or you can choose to use any of these method series and commit to using that for the year. Obviously, you don't have to stay with this for the whole year. You can bounce around and you can figure out, you know, if they have the skills to play Angry Birds, by all means, stop doing the method book and go play Angry Birds. Teach a lesson, teach a couple weeks on Angry Birds so they can learn how to play it. It's a lot of fun. They love all of that music. So just, you know, plan to do education part, and then a couple weeks of fun stuff, and then education part and a couple weeks of fun stuff. I just really encourage you to get really, really comfortable with all of this. Very briefly, I want to cover practice options. Your students, if they're one-to-one iPad or if they're CART iPad users, will be able to do this. You'll just need to teach it to them probably 2 or 3 times so they know how to do it. Once the music starts scrolling, if you either tap on the music itself or you tap the pause button that's usually up here, right there, it's 2 lines, there are 2 vertical lines, this screen will pop up. This screen allows you to, or them, to add note names. You can add hold on. Hold on is a feature where the iPad will wait until it hears the correct note. If they're having particular trouble with their left hand or their right hand, you can choose a hand to play with, and only that music will show, or rather, only that music will be counted. You'll see the music in the other hand, but it's very light faded gray, and they won't be able to play it because they're really concentrating on the other hand. And then there's the tempo marking, and I really need you to know that the tempo markings, when you move it, are based on percentages, not metronome actual markings. So when you slide it to the left and it goes down and it's -12, it's not -12 from 100, it's -12% from 100%, which is the full value of the tempo. So if the tempo is 88, then -12%, and don't make me do math, I'm not doing it, I refuse, I'm not doing math. It will be 12% less of 88. So you don't actually know what the tempo is going to be because they don't tell us what the tempo is for each of these songs. So percentage, lower or higher. Some of my students are like crazy wacky and they get like, they want to play it super fast, so they go the other direction. Anytime you use these practice options, anytime you use any one of them, your max star score drops. Okay, so make sure that you tell your students, even if you play it really, really perfect, if you are using any of these practice options, you're still not going to get 3 stars. So, and this is actually where my students have been told that the note names and the hold on and the choose hand, all of that's been disabled on my account. It hasn't been, but they don't know that. The only one that I let them really work with is tempo, because I'm just a mean, horrible teacher and they're scared of me, so they don't check. But I don't let my students use any of those things because I'm a horrible, mean teacher and I expect them to know it. So there, I can't believe I did this in less than an hour. Oh my gosh, 11:51, this is so great. for those of you that are new and have not yet read this book, I wrote a book. This was really not something I planned to do. I didn't plan to hawk the book, but it's really helpful for teachers. It's really, really great for just having a manual available to you. It covers everything in there. Oh, thank you, Laurel. I just looked down. Thank you. Yes. Okay, so it's a fun book to read. It's a really easy book to read. I'm looking at having hard copies made of it. It's going to be in full color, so it's because the ebook is in color. Lots and lots of questions, just basic how to use Piano Maestro. It's a huge app. It really is not like, the Most Addicting Sheep game where there's just so much you can do with it. This app has lots and lots of bells and whistles and all kinds of good stuff for you to use if you know that it's there. And this book kind of covers all of that stuff for you. So please feel free to check it out. It was a lot of fun to write. You're going to be so happy. I did update this book to include all the information that was in this webinar. All those steps and all of the suggestions for what to purchase and what you need for projecting are included in that book. If you already bought the book, you will need to go and Google how to update my Kindle book, because Kindle has a step procedure thing that you have to go through to get the updated version of the book. But I got a notice that the approval was I got notice of approval. Let me try that again. Yesterday afternoon. So the book that's live right now, if you haven't purchased it, will include all that information. If you have, you need to update your book. I don't know how to do that. So you can ask me, but I don't know how to do that. That's why I said Google it, because I don't know how to do that. Okay, so let's see. Couple other quick tips that I wanted to cover with you. As your students get better, you can for sure play duets with your students where one student plays the right hand, one student plays the left hand. That's always fun. You can also work on a song and then have your students come in. This one they really love. I'll divide them into two teams. We will each play the same couple song that will play a very short, usually very short song, and one person will play the song and then on one team, and then the other person will play the song on the other team, and then we will keep track of scores. So yes, Valerie, I did. So we use the actual score number, not the stars. They have to have a numerical score, and then whichever team has the most points wins, which, whatever. Okay, I'm going to just give me a sec to make sure I cover all my notes. Oh, one more thing. If you have a bunch of students who are playing on your iPads all day, you have a full day of teaching, then hold on, I'm going to stop. That's the end of the slideshow. There we go. Am I back? Let me see. Stop. Yay, I'm back. It's me. Okay, so really quick, I want to talk about glitchy Piano Maestro because this happens to everybody. And what happens is your iPad gets fragmented. Okay, if you remember from your Microsoft days, if you were ever a Microsoft user, you would have to go in periodically and you would have to defrag your computer. And what happens with the iPad is because it's a real finite amount of memory, you have to, I froze on my screen, so hopefully you guys are not seeing me frozen. You need to force close Piano Maestro. Make sure that you force close Piano Maestro and reopen it every couple of classes so that all the memory that's being used is freed up again. It's a very high graphic app. So it's really important for you to make sure that you clear it out all of the time. If you don't know how to force close, you double tap the home button and slide Piano Maestro and anything else that's open up and off the screen so that Apple knows that the iPad knows that you are finished using that app. Otherwise, it continues to run in the background. And 9 times out of 10, when Piano Maestro is glitchy, that's why, because you have too many things open and it can't find suitable memory close enough together to make it work. So just want to make sure that you know that. I cannot even believe that we did this. There's one more thing that if you are really having trouble with your iPad, and it's a last ditch effort to fix it. If you hold the power button down for 5 to 7 seconds, you'll get a red slider close thing. The red slider close your iPad. That shuts the whole thing down, and it allows the iPad to basically do a soft reset. Yeah, I know. I'm frozen. I hate when you switch from slides to live that it does that. I'm so sorry. It moves. It just moves really slowly. So you're going to see some really odd, very odd facial expressions. Sorry about that. I am sorry. Going back to shutting down your iPad. When you turn it back on, it will ask you to log in again with your security passcode and everything, and that usually resets everything. So just be aware there's 2 ways for you to fix glitchy Piano Maestro. You can do the force close, which usually takes care of everything, or you can do the soft reset. It's not really called a soft reset, but that's what we're going to call it. The soft reset, so that you can reset everything on there. Okay. Wow, I did it. 57 minutes. This is so great. I did it in 57 minutes. I'm so excited. If you have any questions, I'm going to head over to the Joy Teens Facebook page in about 10 minutes. I'm going to set this all up. As soon as YouTube lets me know that this video is available, I'm going to also post the link over there. Thank you so much for coming today. I hope that you got something useful out of this. Whenever I do a session, I also work for the state of Texas and present for their present to teachers on how to use music in a classroom. One of the things I always ask them is, or I always do for them, is I make sure that they have something that they can do with their class on Monday. There were a lot of ideas in here. I hope that you guys get something that you can do on Monday with the session. And again, thank you so much for coming and giving up part of your Saturday to be part of this. I appreciate it so much. I can't even tell you. I really appreciate it a lot. And thank you again for listening and putting up with me. Like I said, I'm going to head over to the Facebook page, so join me there if you want to ask questions, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. Thanks so much, y'all. Bye.